about one person in particular. I went to my friends for help. I tried to get help. My predators lied, but my friends didn't care. That's the thing about as soon as Natalie disappeared, it didn't fucking matter if you was my best friend in the world or not. It doesn't matter what you did in the past. It didn't. You had had your chance already by the time Natalie was killed. The problem here is that you pretended to be my friend this whole time. Let me believe that you actually cared about me, and no matter what, there is always some excuse. It's not that I don't care about you, it's that you don't care about me. You've shown that just as many others have for 6 years. See, I used to protect those people at Starbucks. I used to keep them safe. When I hurt my back and I wasn't able to help people anymore, they forgot that I existed. At least when I was in the Starbucks, I was safe. But outside of the Starbucks, Border Police realized I couldn't go anywhere and they just wouldn't leave me alone. They wouldn't let me sleep. My own friends were stealing my things because they knew where I hid them at night and that I couldn't chase them. I went to my older brother. I was like, hey man, people are stealing my things. I went to friends who claimed that they knew who had my stuff, but then they disappeared for a week. And meanwhile, the people at Starbucks didn't care. It's, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. I'm not a real friend, so they shouldn't have pretended I was a real friend. There's a lady there named Devin, and she pretended like she wanted to be my friend and actually go do a friend thing. I mean, this is after I'd been trying to get help from the Starbucks folks because nobody else cared. Maybe this once, if I really try to impress upon them how much I am being harmed, maybe they will care. But they didn't. Devin said that she was to wait around after she got off work. This is what she requested. She wanted to go and have a beer with me, and I thought she wanted to go have a beer as friends. I explained that I don't drink beer, but I would love to. I really needed a friend. Well, here's the thing, is that in the entire history of going to Starbucks, and all of the times that I've been abused and other people have been abused who are disabled or mentally ill, they have never once lifted a goddamn finger to give a fuck except to say, I'm fucking sorry, and that blows the victim off. How many times is the victim supposed to go to friends or family and get blown off before they say, hey, stop pretending you're a friend or family? I went to you for help. You can't even admit that. And I understand why. People are dead. And they ended up dead after I went to you for help and you blew me off. They're dead, Kaitlynne. And it's not just you that blew me off. It is literally every single one of you who claimed to be my friend. Every one of you. The other day when you said that you were actually going to try, I actually believed you. I actually believed you. I went to you before Natalie was killed. I went to a lot of people before Natalie was killed because they said they were my friends. And to turn this in, I'm supposed to go to my family or friends immediately. Immediately. I always reached out to somebody. And when they blew me off, I went to someone else. When they told me they were going to come forward, I thought they actually meant it, but every one of those people at Starbucks procrastinated or gave me empty promises or told me that people were going to help me who never showed up. And they certainly never spoke up, which is what is needed to stop abuse. They never took the time to listen. And here's the thing about Kaitlynne Tatum. All right, it's just like the situation with Betsy Prowell. Not just like the situation with Betsy Prowell. She was another victim of Boulder police, but she fucking blew me off for 6 months. Didn't care what I was going through. Only her stuff matters. And yeah, it's fine to be that selfish. But if you're going to be that selfish, don't pretend to be a friend. Male victims are blown off. Homeless victims are blown off. You can acknowledge that those things happened. That those are real statistics. You can acknowledge that. But in 6 years, rather than come forward and admit that I told the truth, you make me post it on YouTube. You make me post it on YouTube and Facebook. And I do say make me because there are lives at stake, and you knew that from the beginning. The thing is that none of you would call. That started well before Natalie was killed. That started when I hurt my back. I was no longer worth calling to talk to. It was just texting and typing. The only people that I had to almost have a conversation with is the folks at Starbucks. A few seconds here, a few seconds there. And me begging them, for the love of fucking God, help! People are hurting me. The only people that ever come talk to me after I hurt my back were fucking schizophrenics. Relentless. It's like Lewis. Lewis and Cheryl were going to help me, but they never do. They never do. My predators said that I didn't try to get help. They tried pretending that I was schizophrenic. And for years, I have tried to get Kaitlynne Tatum and others who know that I am not schizophrenic to actually be a friend or go away. I'm showing that I tried to get help. I am showing that I tried to get help from Kaitlynne Tatum. I'm showing that I tried to get help from all of the people that never made a single effort to actually help. Now, Kaitlynne Tatum isn't the first person I've had to do this with. You tell the fucking truth. When you say you're going to call me, actually call me. Stop going out of your way to reinterpret every goddamn thing that I type and tell me how to think and feel. If you care, find out and speak up. Kaitlynne Tatum is an example of sexism. All of my friends are. If this was a woman who came to them for help because she was being abused, but I'm not the right gender. If I had Down syndrome or I was in a wheelchair, then you would see visual markers of my disabilities. But because there's no visual markers, it's okay to harm me. And there are visual markers, but I have to hide them so you don't harm me. So I'm not harmed by people who want to call me a creeper because I have Tourette syndrome and because I'm autistic. When I told Kaitlynne Tatum I needed her to leave, to stop pretending to be my friend, then she wanted to pretend like she was going to finally call. See, that was Natalie Bollinger's problem. Right there. She thought that I was just going to take the abuse. She thought I was just going to take it. She told a little white lie because she didn't want to get in trouble. And look what it turned into. And it's not that I didn't try to get help. It's that none of these places help unless you have a friend or a family member who cares. If you have a friend or family member who cares and you go to them because you're being abused, they don't ignore you for 6 years and make excuses for 6 years and talk over you and type over you. Yeah, I can see that she did it nicely, but she did the same thing. Not caring or understanding that I don't have the resources. I don't have the resources. It takes me a lot of work just to try to get you what you want if you're going to help me. But when you don't help me, what's the point in sending it to you? What is the point of trying? Why am I trying to get help from people who are not friends? You were going to call 2 days ago. Sorry, 3 days ago. Then you were going to call 2 days ago. Yesterday you finally did. You were going to this morning, but you didn't. I figured you weren't going to. I figured your ability to care about somebody who is a homeless white male who's disabled is probably about one phone call in 6 years. Kaitlynne Tatum is not the worst friend that I've ever had. That title goes to Candace Bondurant. You have literally ignored 6 years of abuse. You have forced me to beg you to care for 6 years. You say that you'll care and then you ignore me for another 6 months or 2 years. Because you didn't care how much people hurt me. You still don't care how much people hurt me. Yeah, I realize there's a lot to go through. There wasn't that much 6 years ago when you hid like a coward, when you made every excuse on the planet. Kaitlynne, there's a lot of people that I went to before Natalie died. All I needed you to do was admit that I went to you for help. When I asked you to leave, all right? And you wanted to pretend to be my friend again. And you again did not follow through. Redid the arrangement in your fucking head. So that it's something else entirely. That's the problem with not communicating effectively. My predators worked together, and they were very public about it, which means that it's easy to bust them and turn them in, but not alone. I recorded every situation where I had to go in alone. I went to you as a friend because I needed a friend. If you're being victimized like this, and your friends care so little that it takes them a full 2 weeks to do something that is uncalled for, and a mandated reporter, that's against the law. That's feloniously against the law. When your friend is an at-risk adult and you go out of your way to literally do things that you know push people to suicide, what kind of a friend can you honestly say that you are, even if you say those things nicely? If a friend comes to you for help and asks you to tell the truth, and you can't even do that in 6 years, and they have to beg you, and they have to post it up on the internet that they tried to get help, because in 6 years you couldn't come forward on your own and do it. You didn't take it seriously, and you're too busy making excuses without even trying any excuse other than put forth an actual effort. You'll put together a half-assed pretendy effort. See, that's the thing. I understand. I'm a guy. I don't matter. I understand that asking a woman for help in a situation like this, she's not going to stop and even try to understand it because she's been taught that she doesn't have to. A man is expected to drop everything at a moment's notice for a woman. That is what our society expects. Our society expects sexism regardless of the law. It also expects a friend or family member to actually care, to try doing these things that I've been telling these people since before Natalie died, but they didn't have time, they didn't have time, they didn't have time. They were gonna. Not a single one made an actual effort to try in 6 years. This stuff here. In 6 years, you haven't tried doing any friends or family things. You've gone out of your way to look the other way and once in a while blow smoke up my backside. That's not a friend. Hundreds of threats, harassment, and assault, including sexual and physical assault. And many of my predators, I have them admitting to the drugs that they were doing and to the children that were abused. And still, that's not enough for Kaitlynne Tatum to take the time to actually look and actually speak up. It's because homeless people don't matter. Males don't matter. It's not that I never tried to get help. It's that the people who pretended to be my friends didn't give a shit. They didn't give a shit. And then when Natalie died, they fucking sure gave a shit then. They gave a shit enough that every one of them, every single one of them, including Kaitlynne Tatum, has played stupid and gone out of her way to, what? Not try to help turn it in, that's for certain. Everybody wants to be a pocketbook lawyer, like they automatically know the law after telling me they can't help me because they're not a lawyer. You're a witness. Did I come to you for help? That is the simplest question. If you're going to let another human being be physically and sexually and financially and emotionally harmed for 6 years, when they came to you calmly and collectively and tried to explain to you, the first time they tried to explain to you, and the second time and the third time, just begging you to please be more than just a word. Be an actual friend. I get that you don't want to admit that you ignoring me, as always, pretending like you care, you're going to eventually. Well, that's the thing, is that you say that you looked at those things, you don't. You're still doing the same things that you did before. You're betraying my trust, which is why you're going up on the internet. That's why you were already up on the internet. That's why I was already speaking about you on the internet, because I did, in fact, go to you for help. You didn't care, so I had to tell the truth. It's not that I don't care about you, Kaitlynne. It's that you have showed loud and clear that you don't care about me. Why remain friends with somebody if you're just going to look away? You're going to put forth just enough effort to pretend that you made an effort. One call in 6 years, and I had to beg you for that. Did I go to you for help before Natalie was killed? And am I schizophrenic? Two very simple questions. But instead, I got railroaded because my predators pretended that I never tried to get help, that I never reached out for help, that nobody would help, probably because of the way that I act. No, lots of people tried to help, but none of them tried to help me turn it in. A friend or family member to help me turn it in, not 10,000 web sleuths. But you didn't have time, you didn't have time. No matter what, when you say that you're going to, you are going to reschedule every time. There are long periods of time where you ignored me. Years on end, Kaitlynne Tatum. Knowing full well that I was telling the truth. You don't want to admit that when I went to you for help, you blew me off. Pretended to care, but you blew me off. You're gonna, oh, you can't even hear the words coming out of my mouth. That's why I make videos. Getting my friends to actually listen is impossible because I don't have any. It's not that I don't love these people. It's that they have had 6 years. 6 years to show that they care about me. 6 years to find out if this stuff is true or not. Now you get to feel on a tiny level how I feel. I did the right thing because it was the right thing to do. I went to my bullies and I asked them to stop. Or rather, when they came to me, I asked them to stop. I went to my friends and I asked for help, putting a stop to it. And even though you're not supposed to go to law enforcement alone when you have to turn this stuff in as a disabled adult, my friends blew me off, not caring. For that entire year, was it not obvious to God and everybody that I had changed drastically? That I was literally screaming for help? But you just let them do it. All you care about is hiding your name and your shame. In order to help me now, you have to admit that you screwed up. It's shameful that I have to post it on the internet. I needed help stopping the abuse, but none of you cared. Not before Natalie died and not since. That stuff that I sent you today, it's just a tiny selection of stuff that you were too busy to take a look at. You want to pretend to be my friend. In 6 years, I've been posting on my Facebook for 6 years and on YouTube for 6 years because not a single one of you, Kaitlynne Tatum, not you or even a single other friend of mine even tried in 6 years. You give me token BS that you're eventually maybe, no, a maybe is a no. That shows you don't care who hurts me. When a maybe lasts for 6 years, I don't need a maybe. And it wasn't a maybe that you told me. You procrastinated until it was too late. But I had to accept that as good enough because you were too good a person, apparently, to call me and listen in 6 fucking years. You're uncomfortable with me talking about you on the internet. Well, I am uncomfortable with asking you for help. Instead of going to the internet, I tried going to you for help over and over and over again. I tried going to all of my friends for help. You couldn't listen. You could not make the time in 6 years. And in the last 5 days, oh yes, Sean, I'm your friend. I'm gonna. You have no idea what I've been through in the last 5 days waiting on you. I can't do these things myself. That's why I came to you before Natalie died. People were hurting me. That's why I came to you when there was a problem at the Starbucks. Because people were hurting me. I needed help. What the fuck do you think I needed help with? Oh yeah, you never bothered to find out. Asking nicely got me ignored. Posting up in public that I can't believe a word that comes out of your mouth, Kaitlynne Tatum. I can't believe that you care about me. I can't. You're showing you don't. Pretty words, nothing. If you can tell me that you can't tell the truth because you're afraid of losing your job, and you can also tell me that you're a mandated reporter, you lose your job. If your job requires you to be a mandated reporter, you lose your job if you don't do your job as a mandated reporter. So if you're going to tell me that you can't do the right thing because you are afraid of losing your job, then you are in the wrong business. If you have to be afraid of retaliation, and that's why there is mandated reporter training videos, and I sent you one of those. If you were a friend, you would want me to be safe. If you were a friend, you wouldn't force me to post this on the internet. If you were a friend, you wouldn't make me beg. And if you're a friend, after 6 years, you'd stop fucking around and actually do the friend shit that I've been asking for someone. Out of all of you who claim that you're my friends, how many of you helped me with this right here? None of you. None of you. I'm supposed to understand that you want to go visit people. You want to go hang out with friends and family. I haven't been able to do that in 6 years. 6 years. For 6 years, in order to go see any of my friends or family, I have to risk being harmed. That's my safety network. Those people help to protect me from being harmed. Now, how's that supposed to work if I can't even go see them? I get that you are in a different state. That is a shitty excuse. You can help a disabled adult turn it in from anywhere. I followed the protocols. I followed the laws. I went to mandated reporters by myself, despite the fact that I was told and instructed not to. I was told and instructed to go to a friend or a family member, because one of the first questions that they ask when you go to a mandated reporter is, don't you have friends or family to help you with this? And if the answer is no, that's where it ends. That's where it fucking ends. My predators lied in court. I got evidence of a whole bunch of it. I got evidence that I tried to go to people for help. And that evidence ending up on YouTube over and over again. Don't make me dig it out. It takes forever. I got the phone call yesterday recorded, and the pretty words, I already knew they were bullshit when she came out and spat them out of her mouth. Are you really a friend if you can turn a blind eye to this for 6 years? If you can do everything in your power, literally any excuse that you can make, but you still want to linger on my friends list? No. At this point, we're not friends. I came to you in a professional capacity. I came to you in a friendly capacity. You failed miserably at both. And now I'm expected to believe you're going to keep your word this time, and you still haven't. Same thing. No matter what, it's some excuse. That's how I get treated. But you don't care about the abuse I'm going through or why. You're not going to look at any of that stuff I sent you, and you're sure as hell not going to help me turn it in. You're going to BS me. And eventually you're going to get pissed off and block me. Because you got two choices. You can tell the truth and help me to turn it in, or I can show the truth. How you treated me when I went to you for help. How you just blew smoke up my ass. Now, the very beginning of what I say at the end of my videos, good to be rid of you. There's a reason I say that. Thanks for coming to visit. There's a reason I say that. Stay out of trouble or don't get caught. There's a reason I say that. And no victim left behind. There's a reason I say that. I get that I'm a male, so I can't be a victim of sexual assault. I get that I'm white, so I can't be a victim of police brutality. Whatever. I am a member of the most at-risk and most ignored victims in this country. And even Kaitlynne Tatum is too sexist to care.